Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, lovers, and friends, welcome back to the podcast. I am your host, Jim Fogarty. We are coming to you from Two Ticks and the Dog Productions up above Dave Grohl Alley in beautiful downtown Warren, Ohio, on the square. We're going to rip right in here with my good friend and fellow artist, Mike Talanca, folks. But before we do, I've got to mention and shout out our incredible sponsors who, without Season 4, would not be possible. They are the Station Square Restaurant, Salvatore's Italian Grill, Modern Methods Brewery, right down the alley here on Dave Grohl, Brokers Realty, and Prosperity Partners. I do want to ask you some questions, though.
Go ahead.
About, like some really big names of people that you met and
work with,
and how they were just gracious and nice and kind. And I've had a very, I'm quite certain I haven't met as many, kind of famous people as you had, but the people I have met, boy, they're just, most of them, the big ones, are just fucking awesome human beings.
They're normal people.
Though sometimes the ones that are like on the outskirts, they're not quite there. They could be kind of a little
pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I've dealt with plenty of them.
But every person I've ever met from Ohio or from the Midwest seems like especially, not even you're out west and you're out east, there's always a Youngstown connection in some capacity. Mm-hmm. And most of those people, Youngstown, Warren, these Ohio things, like very, very cool. And I know you have a story
Chrissie Hynde?
About Chrissie Hynde.
Chrissie? Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Well, but I want to mention, it's like, because you're proud to be from Ohio, right?
Oh, of course I am.
Of course we're on Dave Grohl Alley, but like a lot of people don't realize, of course Warren has, Dave Grohl. He didn't grow up here, right?
No.
He was born
here, and then he left.
It's
okay.
But you got guys like Sean Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean's a
fantastic
monster.
He's
right?
been in the studio with Tony Leonardi. I don't know if you know that name.
The name's familiar.
He started the jazz program over there at YSU. He's the guy that got me the gig to teach at YSU.
Okay.
Thank you, Tony. Again, another person in my life. He was the nicest fucking guy to me. I was warned thousands of, Tony's a prick. Yeah, to his students. But if he's working with you and you're on top of everything and you're doing everything he needs you to do, he was so nice to me. That's why he talked to me about, hey man, I'd like to start a recording program at YSU and everything. I want to get you involved in it. And he did. And I was able to teach there. I didn't need a doctorate degree to teach at YSU.
How long did you teach there?
Probably about 4 or 5 years, if I remember correctly.
At Dana. I mean, it was the Dana School of Music.
Dana School of Music, yeah. And everybody was cool there. That's where I met my one buddy, the legacy scoring stage, Todd Mackey, one of the local guys. I told you this.
Yeah.
He's with he does a lot of string arrangements. He's a conductor. He's incredibly gifted musically, okay? And that's where he called. If I'm not mistaken, he called me one time and was asking me, because he was a student, what kind of software should I buy? I told him what to buy, what to get. Obviously and to this day, he still has the same software. He's still using everything, But when I was asked to do a recording session with him with strings, and I didn't have the time, and a friend of mine, he's passed away since, Jim Meese is his name, another great musician. Anyways, he said, man, you got to work with Todd, man. He knows you. You helped him set up shit and everything. I said, okay, well, let's do the next time he does a string thing, I'd love to do that. That's great, recording strings. Again, something else that I hadn't done in my life, but I have an opportunity. I'm going to go do it. Damn right. So I have to bring some mics and, some gear, and that's okay. That's not a problem. And he was, again, there's another human being that is just so, Todd is the nicest guy. Wonderful to work with. I got him involved in a couple of my songs and everything because he wanted to do some scores for me. I'm saying, okay, man, I'll pay whatever. Tell me what I got to do. Having strings, to me, that was the next stage of having a better album because I can have real strings.
Oh, wow, that's
no
awesome.
String machine. Really? I paid for I don't care.
What's the difference between, how do you describe the difference between a computer sound and a real player that's playing it? And
well, I would say there's probably more. I'm going to say Today, especially, it's a little bit tougher to tell because these cats can play these samples and everything really well. Mm-hmm. Todd's one of those guys that can do this. He'll write the score out, and then he'll play it in his computer, and you listen to it and says, that sounds fucking great the way it is. We don't need to go. No. We'll go record the strings and everything, and then you hear the real strings. It's like, it's another step above, okay? That's all. You would listen to stuff today and think that it was real strings, and it isn't. It's computer generated, and they do a hell of a great job, okay? So does Todd. He's at that level. He does perfect, wonderful arrangements and everything. And to have strings, I'm sorry, to me that was just a big step for me to do, okay, I got guitar players, I got this guy, I got that guy. Oh, strings. Oh, man, it just, again, almost brings me to tears just to think about that experience of being able to do that and have that done. It was worth every penny because you got to pay the musicians. It's worth every penny. We did strings at Stambaugh. There's a room up there, the Christensen room. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. You should see this room. It's behind the balcony in Stambaugh. It's gorgeous. It's gold leaf, beautiful. It's like you're in some kind of church.
Wow.
It's beautiful. It's not a huge room. It's as wide as Stambaugh is, so that's the length of the room. And it's probably about maybe 20 feet wide, 25 probably, I would guess. Oh my God, strings sound amazing in this room, okay? We just did a thing a few weeks back at the Dior, and a live thing. I told you about that earlier. Yeah. It was 5 or 6 composers doing music, and again, all string stuff, wonderful strings, horns. I mean, it was a whole orchestra. I think it was 46, 47 pieces, just great, wonderful. But again, I would get no experience in doing that without, another thing that I do also, and people should know this. Want to go to a free concert once a month, folks? Go to Packard Music Hall.
Boom.
Okay?
My man.
Packard
We didn't
Music
even talk
Hall.
about that either. I just want, because people know I'm involved in Packard. I'm so happy that you said that.
I'm going to tell you
man.
this. Everybody should know this.
Yes.
3 o'clock, second Sunday of every month. Check it out on the website. Sometimes they change it, but there's 53 musicians on stage, and they're playing a lot of it. Some of it's marching band stuff, but they did just 2 gigs ago, they did jazz. And then they do some rock songs once in a while. That it's excellent. These are musicians that are all school teachers, or they teach at Dana or whatever, but they're all great players.
They're badass.
They're badass. Like, oh my God, you can't believe how many great players there are.
Oh, yeah.
And when they get together, it sounds like a fucking steamroller. They're killing it.
Dude.
They're killing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. They're really good. So, free concert, 3 o'clock. Come on, Mr. Packard. 100 years ago, he put money up, but still, he hasn't spent it all yet. Help the guy out, okay?
Let's spend his money.
Let's spend his money.
I'm gonna put that in one of the commercials next time. Help WD Packard spend his money.
That's right. He's still spending it, folks. He's dead, but his money ain't, okay? It's amazing, though. That guy put that money away. I think Tom Groth is the guy that hired me. Mm-hmm. He's the main guy.
Yep.
Another wonderful person.
Awesome.
He went to Catholic school.
Oh, yeah.
Don't hold it against him.
He's a St. Mary's graduate.
There you go.
Yep.
So you know. And the nuns beat him up, too. He needed it.
Yeah.
He needed some. Everybody needs straightened out once in a while. No, but again, everybody's so nice there, and we have so much. It's fun. Again, nobody's mean. If you're... Everybody from the stage hands, everybody's good. Wonderful. It's wonderful to work with people that, as long as you're working, you don't get in their way. And, I don't ask anybody to do my work for me. I do all my work myself. I don't even have an assistant. I don't need one. I don't want an assistant, technically. I trained myself to do everything myself. I learned how to play myself. I learned how to record, how to write. I learned from other people things, but I implemented them for me because I'm a nuts and bolts kind of guy, I guess. I want to know how things work. That's why I wanted to learn how to fix my guitar amp. Hey, now I can fix this. Now I can do that. I should have took one more step, which I didn't. I should have went to Dana School for a couple years to learn how to read music better. But it didn't hold me back. I mean, there's a great pianist. I think she's still at YSU. Her name's Carolina Oltmans. She is incredible. This lady knows what Beethoven ate for breakfast kind of thing. She knows everything about these classical players, and she plays. She's incredible. All I wanted to do was say, because of my ear, and when she would play something, I couldn't say, look, bar 35, I would go, da-da-ba-da-da, when you did that part there, it seemed a little, yeah, that's how we spoke to each other. And she was cool about it. You know what I mean? She didn't go, you should learn how to.
Yeah, right.
She wasn't like that. She was very, again, she was professional. She was wonderful. Wonderful. You were wonderful to record with, Carolina. If everybody says you're a pain in the ass, they're wrong. You're a wonderful human being. I'm sorry. Well, like it says, is it that these people are they're misunderstanding, or they think that they're all that, and then they get an attitude or give an attitude? I don't give or get any attitude. Let's do this. We're making music. I'm excited to do this.
Right.
She had a Steinway piano brought into the studio, just like with Joe Augustine. He's a Steinway artist. He has Steinway piano brought in the studio. The last thing we did, though, he's got a Steinway piano in his house, okay? 9-foot Steinway. This was just a month ago. I recorded him, Jim Rudd, drummer, great drummer, jazz drummer, and Tim Powell, upright bass player guy, another great guy. Man, these guys are killing. Go to the Avalon. You want to hear a great piano player?
Right.
He's from the area, Joe Augustine. He fucking is killing it. God damn. Oh, I'm sorry. But he's killing it.
Settle down, Mike.
I
You're
can't
getting
help
too
it. I get
excited.
excited. Look, I only had a couple cups of espresso this morning. That's it, okay?
Well, that's the kind of energy, too, that you have at the studio where it's like,
Yes.
man, we're excited to be here.
Right.
Let's fucking kick ass.
Let's do it. We're making music.
We're not shoveling coal here.
No.
This is fucking fun.
We're trying to make music. Let's get emotional, get the feeling. Here's where it should be coming from, your heart, okay?
Well, that's where I think, like, maybe, and I'd be hard pressed to tell, like, right, this is a sampled piece because it sounds so real, and there's all
Even
different
me.
types of, yeah, right.
Okay?
But the artist, the person who's playing this stuff, it's almost like they embed their soul somehow. They transfer a part of them, a piece of them, that emotional component,
Right.
to the music. I would say, like, people would say, like, oh, well, especially younger people today, like, oh, I don't know, what's the difference between, like, digital and analog? You could feel it different. And that's kind of the same thing I feel about is it a sample or a synthesized thing, or is it someone actually playing?
Real? That's right.
And the realness maybe is because of that emotional content.
It
people
is.
are excited.
But some people can make it. Like I said, there's some cats that can take a sampler and make it sing. I've seen it.
Probably because they have that emotional content inside.
They're bringing their emotion through the sound is exactly what they're doing.
And the computer is their instrument, for lack of better
terms. And it can be. That's okay.
They're manipulating it to make it sound a certain way.
That's correct. But it doesn't have to be the first thing. They touch a button and now I'm doing it and it's perfect. No, they might work with the sound or do something a little bit with it. Or, like I said, a good keyboard player. I'll name another person from Billy Beck. Do you know who he is?
I do know Bill Beck. Yeah.
From the Ohio Players?
Yeah.
Okay. That motherfucker is a great talent.
Yeah.
Sings. I know he doesn't think he sings that good, but you're better than you think you are, Billy. Okay? And when he plays, I'm sorry, man. He takes me away. I love his playing. Him and Rick Ward is a guitar player from the Ohio Players also, okay? Another great, he lives in Youngstown. What a great guitar player. This guy plays like George Benson stuff. Killer, tasteful as the day is long. Again, there's some cats in this area just, oh my God, they melt me when they're playing.
What was the fella just passed away? Willie played.
Willie Weeks?
No. Willie played with the Ohio Players. Willie.
I don't know all the guys in the Ohio Players.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I know.
Anyways.
Billy would know who it was.
He used to play out local.
Sure.
Big hands, man.
Right.
Like, could just transverse the fretboard.
Of course.
It'd take me 10 minutes to get there. It'd take me 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, these guys eat, sleep, and drink their instrument. Look, when you go on the road, that's all you do is just play.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's the time you want to build your chops and be really good, because it's like riding a bike. You don't forget.
Yeah.
You don't forget. You get right back on that bike. Now you're a little rusty. You got to practice a little bit, whatever it is, this or this or this. Doesn't matter. You can just get right back into it and start doing it, as long as your body allows you to do it. You know what I mean? You don't have arthritis or you have other physical problems that are holding you back. You should be able to create. But going on the road is what helped a lot of these good musicians be great. Okay? I know that because I practice when I can practice. It helps me. It's good for me. I don't stop practicing. The only problem with me when I practice, I'll practice for a little while and then I start shifting into writing songs. Oh, this is a great riff. Oh, got to work on this lick a little bit, and then forget about practice. And I'm working on this song now, and it happens. But then that's when I'll put it down in the idea machine and try to jump back to doing a little bit of some scales and just practicing a little bit to loosen up to be able to play better.
Well, it's almost like when you're on the road. I've never been on the road, right? But
neither have I.
You are someone is paying you to play, but they're also paying you, and you're practicing in a live setting.
Correct.
Where the energy and the odds are or the stakes are a little bit higher.
Yes.
Rather.
No, the energy is definitely higher.
Yeah.
No. Anytime I played live, there's a difference.
Yeah. Frank would always tell young musicians like
Castellano.
Yeah.
What a great guy. Another great player.
Yeah.
Frank was great. Yeah. Another great human being.
Great. Yeah.
I love Frank.
Yeah, me too.
I had him play on one of my tunes.
Yeah.
He killed it.
Yeah.
He killed it.
Yeah.
It was great. I loved it.
He was a fucking savage too.
Oh,
man.
he was a wild man. I loved
yeah.
it though. And he did a gig at Barrel 33 that I recorded live.
Okay.
See, he's another one. He goes, it isn't that good. I'm not going to,
right.
Mike. Are you fucking high?
Right.
Jesus, come on, man.
Right.
This is fucking great. So when he passed away, I made copies that I gave him to both of his sisters and his mother. And of course, they appreciated the shit out of it. Says, look, you can remember Frank right there. He's live. It was the whole gig. It was a whole night. I recorded the whole night for him. And so we could pull some things out and you can make an album. He goes, it wasn't that good. And I'm going, oh, man, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong. He's another person that he didn't think he was good enough.
Yeah.
And again, that you're your own worst enemy when you do that shit.
Right.
You need to depend on he needed to depend on me, and believe me, I said, Frank, let's do this song. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, okay. Then when he's dead, it's like, okay, I had to make it for his sisters and his mother. But what can you do? This way, he's always alive.
Yeah.
I still have the recording too. It's outstanding. He could sing and play and just draw you in and make you feel what he was doing. It was a great vibe. It was great.
Well, he would always say, like, to young players, like, get out there on the road.
Right.
And just go and just play.
See, that's the thing I'm telling you.
Couple nights.
He's telling you what
night.
I'm telling the engineers. Same thing. Go somewhere else.
Go work
somewhere where there's pros.
Yeah, right.
Be a pro. Be like a pro. Or go somewhere where there are so you can learn your craft and be better at it, okay? You'll learn that being an asshole doesn't get you too far. Even though in New York there were people that I can't believe they got hired because of their shitty attitude, but they were great at what they did. There were people like that. They had a bad attitude, but they were really good at what they did.
People learned that that's the process that got them there.
That's right.
Like it's having a hard coach yell at you, get in that fucking thing. Like, fucking get it, you know.
Yep.
And other people sometimes they're not motivated that way.
No.
And they shut down.
Right.
And so how many people maybe did we not get to be exceptional at what they did because it could have been the wrong influence.
Correct.
Somewhere in the middle, you got to be real with people.
Yes.
Hey, can you stop fucking around?
Yeah, we got to get some shit together here, please.
But it doesn't have to be like,
hey, God damn it, I told you, put that shit down and quit fucking around.
I had a fucking director, man, and we're friends. And sure. He was directing me, okay? And I'm not a fucking actor. I mean, I'm an actor, but I'm not.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And he fucking ride me, and I'm gonna get there. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm enough of a perfectionist where I don't believe me. I'm not stepping on that motherfucker and gonna embarrass. I don't want to embarrass myself.
No.
But I don't want to be ridden either.
Right. Of course not.
Fucking ride me into the minute this stops being fun for me. All of this.
Tell me about it.
Is the minute I'm out, man. I'm go fucking do something else.
That's what happened to me at Right Track. The boss would yell at me once in a while, and we had a discussion, and I told him I can't take this. You can't. I don't get paid enough to get yelled at. And he told me again, Mike, this is my place. And I says, I get that.
Sure.
But if I didn't, I'll give you one story. And again, just to show you what happened. I'm the chief tech. I'm working in the daytime. I come in, I'm hearing a commotion. I'm coming up the elevator. I'm hearing screaming. I'm going, what the hell? What's going on? Here's Simon screaming at this young lady that we had a little refrigerator, $100 refrigerator. Now, this guy buys $1 million fucking worth of gear, okay? $100 refrigerator. Every month, you had to open it because the freezer part would be pure ice.
Yeah.
Open it up, let it defrost, wait a couple hours, start taking the ice out, a little bit of time, okay. Well, one of my tech guys, the night guy, she asked for a hammer and a screwdriver. And what did she do? She hit the Freon line. She didn't know nothing about Freon line or she's just chipping away, boom, boom, boom. She ruins the refrigerator. Now, this is a $100 refrigerator. It's probably been there for 4 or 5 years, okay? Simon's going off on her, screaming at her. She's crying, poor thing, and yelling at my tech guy and everything. I get up there because I didn't know this all happened until I get up there. I walk in, he goes, "And you? What the fuck? The guy gave him, your guy gave him a hammer." And it's just like, what? I'm walking in, what the fuck's going on? What? Okay, that was just one of the incidents where he just went off. And I'm like, look, I appreciated him giving me a job. I appreciated him being man enough when we talked about me leaving and everything. He was wonderful. He even promised me, he says, you stay here long enough to work somebody else in. The next place you get a job, you'll get that job immediately. He kept his word. I went to this other place, interviewed it because they had video machines there. I want to learn how to, like I said, lock machines together. Soon as I got home, which was a half hour later, my wife goes, "Hey man, Mike, go back. That guy wants you to go to work for him tomorrow." So I walk in the next day, and he goes, "I talked to Simon at Right Track. Why did you leave? That guy loves you. He thought he just loved you. Said all kinds of great things about you." Okay? Because I communicated with him. I never yelled back at him. I never got mad at him. I just said, "Simon, come on now, I understand, but I know you're paying me and you're paying me good money, but not good enough to yell at me when it's not my fault and I'm trying to do shit." And,
Right.
We worked it out. And like I said, to this day, do I appreciate the guy? You're goddamn right I do. I appreciate everything. He let me go to Abbey Road. I got to go learn about an SSL console. He even hired me. I got to work with the Rolling Stones. You see what I mean? I could go down a list of things this guy let me have in my life that I couldn't have had. Now, I had to go there. I did have to take all those steps and be there and do this. Half of it's on me, but the other half was on him, and
Sure.
I appreciate that. Again, people need to appreciate their situations when people give them a situation that, yeah, that guy but he was a real prick. And said, yeah, well, my boss was a prick, but that was his business. Okay, I wasn't running him. I'm running it. I was just trying to help him out and do things as best as I could. I treated it like it was my place, like I owned it. He appreciated that.
Right.
Okay? And that's what people need to have. You need to have an interest in no matter what job you're doing. I don't care if you're changing oil in a fucking car or if you're doing something for somebody famous, sweeping floors for somebody famous. Look, you got a job, be the best that you can at it. And if you don't like your job, go get another one.
Right.
And I know today, in this world, it's a little bit tougher to find a job that quick and that easy. But in our technical world today, look, I grew up when there was no recording schools. I learned by the seat of my pants. I learned to do things my way. And once I went to New York, I learned all the rules of what to do, what not to do with a tape machine, how to overload it, how to align the tape machine, to fix it, the whole thing. I knew more shit than I needed to know to make music, okay? But all that stuff helped me be just a better person, I guess, in the long run is the best way I could put it. Learning all this tech stuff, I could go down like a list. I got all these engineers in front of me. Bob Clearmountain, Eddie Kramer, Steve Lillywhite, Dave Jordan, Ron St. Germain. These guys, Bob Rosa, I got to say something about him.
Say it.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
No. This guy showed me. I sat down. He says, "Mike, you want to be an engineer, don't you? Want to learn how to engineer?" He knew that. He saw that in me because I was asking him. I said, "Why you patch this like this?" And he says, I know what you're doing. I got it. Sit down. Here, mix this thing. Show me what you're going to do with these drums." So I'm look at the meter and I'm looking at this, and he stand up behind me and he put his hands over my eyes like this. And he says, "Now do it. Don't look. Listen. Use your fucking ears. Don't use your eyes. Listen to what's right. I don't care what the meters say, because the meters can lie. Okay, if it's little red and you don't hear no distortion, don't worry about it." See, I was a tech guy, so I'm thinking, hey, I don't want a clip and this and that. He said, "Stop thinking like that. Don't do that. Do it like this." Again, thanks, Bob. Okay? I appreciate, again, that's a little lesson. He didn't have to do that for me, but he did. And I appreciate it. Even working with people like let me think of his name here because he's fucking famous. I got his name here. Hold it. And he's going to hate me because I wouldn't remember your name. You're one of the greatest bass players on the planet. Where's it at? I got Marcus Miller. You know who Marcus Miller is?
I don't.
Another great jazz bass. Okay,
I don't know who that is.
That's okay. He produced Miles Davis.
Oh, fuck.
David Sanborn. Whitney Houston. You know who Whitney Houston is, don't you?
All killers.
Luther Vandross.
Wow.
Now, Marcus, again, another wonderful, sweet human being. I remember when Whitney Houston was in. I've never heard anybody sing so powerfully. I'm out in the lounge in Right Track, and I can hear her singing. That lady could sing like I couldn't believe it, okay? And she would walk out in the lounge. I'm going, Whitney, you're incredible, honey. I could hear you out here. Most people that we'd be singing, you couldn't hear nothing. You couldn't hear them bleed out into not her. She was like a package of dynamite. She was incredible, wonderful, nice to me. Again, everybody was nice to me. Most people, because I'm nice to them. Another perfect example, David Bowie. I got to mention David because he comes into Right Track. They're working on the first Tin Machine album, okay? I get a credit on the album. My name's on that album. That's how nice this guy. Foreigner, they put my name on the album because, again, when I fix something for somebody, they appreciated it so much. So David Bowie comes in. I introduce myself. I say, David, hi, Mike Talanca. I'm chief tech here. Oh, not yet. Not yet. Soon. Anyways, I said, anything you need to do, technical, if you have something you want me to fix, give it to me. I'll take care of it for you. And he goes, well, yeah, could you look at this 4-track recorder for me? It was in a bag. I says, yeah, what's wrong? He says, just isn't working. I don't know what's wrong with it. And I says, okay, David, give it to me. I got it. Took it downstairs. I pulled it out of the bag, and there's sand all over the fucking place. There's sand inside this thing. He was on the beach getting ideas and everything, and he wanted to use it to dump off onto his ideas onto tape and everything so that people could learn the songs. Anyways, I cleaned the thing up, put new belts in it, and give it back to him. You'd have thought I gave him $10 million. He was so happy that he didn't have to buy another one, that I fixed it for him. Not 2 weeks later, they needed somebody to edit tape. And he looks at me, he says, can you edit tape? And I says, yeah. He says, come on, let's go edit some tape. I wish I would have had a tape recorder going then, because while I'm editing tape, because he dumped these songs out onto 1/4-inch tape, and he wanted them in a certain fashion so that they're working on these songs, okay? And he wanted to hear this song first, this song second. So I'm rolling the tape. Yeah, that one, put that on a reel. So I'd cut that off the reel and put it on the reel he was going to make. We were going to make I had to edit these reels of tape together to make one master reel. Just 1/4-inch tape, no big deal. He told more stories than I don't even remember I don't remember any of the stories technically, because I was busy working, cutting, and I didn't want to. When you cut that tape, that's it.
Yeah.
You don't want to cut it in the wrong tape. You got to be very precise. So I'm thinking about what I'm doing, and he's just talking. He said, this time I was with John Lennon and we did this thing, and I remember this and that. He was the nicest fucking guy to me. The very nice. What a gentleman and a half. Wonderful. So they're finishing their album up. And they need an engineer because at the time it was called, what the hell's the name of that program? It was a radio program that oh shit, I forgot to turn my phone off.
There's your flip phone going off.
Yes, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen.
There's my flip phone. It does ring.
You answer it?
No, I don't need to. No, it's not. They can leave a message.
All right.
Okay, I'm doing something important right now. So anyways, King Biscuit Flower Hour. That's the name of the program, okay? So whenever somebody would make a new album or something, they would interview them. And he says, Mike, would you be the engineer? Would you engineer the thing? Because we got nobody. He says, well, I'd love to, okay? All I did was, it was them sitting around a table, and I've set up a few mics, and I'm just the engineer. But, hey, I get a credit for being on the King Biscuit Flower Hour as an engineer. It's just little things like that. Again, I can't talk about... I can, because I am now. Talking about how many things I've gone through and different people I've worked with and just the different situations. I worked at Farmore, okay, that in Youngstown, remember Mickey Monas?
Mickey Monas.
I was their audio guy for a while.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. I quit because I went to work at CAD, Conneaut Audio. They made microphones and recording consoles up in Conneaut, Ohio.
Okay.
So I was their field service guy. Once I got that gig, it was like, yeah, they're sending me around the country to fix these consoles. And they sell microphones. They still sell them today. They don't make consoles anymore. But I did work at Farmore. Mickey Monis, another nice guy. I go through these people that have been nice to me. I was just the audio guy there. That's all. Then I gave the job to a friend of mine, my old partner, Joe Hudek. He took the job, and then 2 months later, Mickey goes to jail because of what he did, And then, but I'm working at some other place that, like I said, CAD, and they're flying me around the country. So one day I come back. I'm going to tell you the story about my recording console. I come back, and the tech guy that's there, his name's Dennis DiCamillo. He's a very smart electronics guy. There's 2 boxes of fucking circuit boards with these channels, okay? They're just stuffed in there. And I says, hey, what the hell's that? He says, we're throwing all those away. They can't be fixed. And I says, whoa, 1 minute. I go to the general manager. I says, you're going to throw those away? Can I take them? He goes, I can't give them to you. I got to sell them to you. But I'll sell them to you at scrap price. I go, fine, no problem. So I bought all those. There's 120, 30 channels of that's why I was able to build an 80-channel console at the time, okay? I fixed every channel, wired the whole thing up, built the patch bay, the whole thing. That recording console that you see at my place wasn't built at the factory. I built it in my house, in my garage, okay? Everything. Look, those guys that worked at CAD, Friday, they couldn't wait to get out of there to party. So they would just, quickly, I'm going to shut this off. I don't, unless it's my son or my daughter or my wife. Okay, hold on. It is my son.
Go ahead.
1 second.
We'll take a break.
Station Square is extending our 38-year anniversary celebration through April with our exclusive $38 entrees. Pick from our limited-time anniversary specials: seafood platter, surf and turf, or twin king fillets. Only at the Station Square restaurant.
Let Salvatore's Howland host your special event in their new banquet facility. Up to 150 guests will enjoy a metropolitan vibe, full-service bar, and customized menu. Call 330-609-7777 or visit salvatoreshowland.com.
With that buzz of select Brazilian Dolce coffee beans, that brew Ipanema's seductively sweet beach coffee, they mingle a flawless measure of their crisp Darlene lager. Somehow, somewhere in a secret lab with modern methods, they blend the perfectly balanced, light, uplifting, gold medal winning brew known as the Percolator. Available at Modern Methods Tap Room or the new Darlene Lounge on Courthouse Square in downtown Warren.
My son, he's a bass player. He plays in a band, I think they're called the Galley Boys, and they're a popular band in L.A. This kid, because he's my son, I'm going to brag about him. He's a killer bass player. He's not a great bass. He kills it every time, okay? One time he came home, he did a track for me, and Billy Beck heard it, and he goes, who's fucking playing bass? I says, that's my son. He goes, I want him to play on a couple of my tunes, okay? So if you're good enough to play with Billy, you made the grade, obviously. But I just want to brag about him. And my daughter, great, wonderful young lady. She works at a church. She does her thing there, and she's really good at it. Again, my kids, I appreciate them very much because they learned a work ethic from me, I think, okay? They're my son, he doesn't do drugs. He doesn't even get drunk barely, and I mean he might have a beer but he doesn't do any of that shit. I remember one time he told me he called me. He says, Pop, I don't know what to do here. We had this drummer and he was in a session and he couldn't play good and he went out and smoked some weed and I got mad because he went out, but he came back in, he did the track and I'm going, okay. What do you want to say? He learned that it wasn't, he had to learn that it wasn't bad that the guy had to go smoke some weed to feel right. He was all nervous about the track, and he did it. He did good. But again, he had to learn, like we all have to learn,
sure.
To be patient with people, to be, good with people. Did I leave off at the CAD making my console?
Yeah.
So Dennis DiCamillo was nice to me. So see, because this guy, him and I were tech, so we would talk tech talk. The clients that they would sell them a console that was half built. They'd deliver it, and I'd go there and finish building it, fixing it, putting it together, whatever it was, to make the company look good. And again, when I go to somebody's studio, I treated it like mine. So the client said, hey man, this piece of gear and this piece of gear, whenever I plug it into this console, it don't work. Hold on. I'll take care of it. And I did. It was wired the wrong way, or something was wrong with it, or it was ground lifting it shouldn't have been. I found the problem. I didn't have to. That wasn't part of the job. Just fixing the console was part of the job. but I fixed anything that anybody asked me to fix when I was working for CAD. So every time I went back, that general manager, he loved me. Again, because next
You went
time
above and beyond.
I went above and beyond. Next time I want that guy to come back, send him. Don't send anybody else. I like the way he does his, he treats my place like it's it. Exactly. If I fix something for somebody, I'm going to treat it like it's my piece of equipment, okay? Or if I fix your studio or do something for you, or like I told you, if you bring a band or you came in, treat me like I'm part of the musical crew here. Don't treat me like I'm the engineer and you got to look at me and genuflect and do the, sign of the cross and all this shit. Put that shit away. I'm not there. We're trying to work together to get a project together, man. This is what we're trying to do. It's what's important. People got to think of, look, if you're going to put your name on it, don't you want people to think that when you're done doing it, says, I want to go back there and record with that guy again because that was fun. That was great. That was just fun. Every time people work with me, I hope that they say that. I want them to say that. And come to my studio like he says. The other day I had a guy come in, he goes, every time I come here, it smells like my mom's kitchen for some reason. And it feels like my mom's house, okay? See that? Again, you said it.
It's like home, man.
I'm just telling you, that's how I try to make it feel. This is not imposing. You go in there, you see the big console and all my outboard gear and all this shit, and it's like, whoa, I'm in a big, calm down.
Yeah, it's not intimidating
It shouldn't
at all,
be.
man.
It shouldn't be. I don't want it to be.
No,
I want it to be open.
Welcoming.
That's why I wanted the light.
And
I want to be open.
Everybody I've talked to, you mentioned Damien earlier.
Yes, of course. He's
Damien,
wonderful. He's fun.
Gary Lee.
Yes, another good.
Frank.
Yes, Frank.
Just like anybody I ever talked to about being in your space, it's the same. They've had the same experience.
Good.
Oh man,
Wonderful.
fucking Mike's so cool. It's such a cool. It's a, to use that term, vibe. It's a great vibe.
That's what's important to me. The vibe.
And I think that vibe is the same vibe. I want to circle back because I do want to hear your Chrissie Hynde story.
Yes. That's right. Forgot.
But
about
I want to talk about like some of these players, and musicians from Ohio.
The local people. Yes.
Well, let's go with like the famous people first, right?
Sure.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, this guy came from here. This guy, like. Think about all these people that came from Ohio. And I wrote some of them down. We already talked about Sean Jones, if you're in jazz. Dean Martin's from Steubenville.
Yeah.
Bootsy Collins and the Isley Brothers are from Cincy.
Yeah.
You got John Legend from Springfield in Southern Ohio. John Schofield's from
Schofield, another great jazz player.
From Dayton.
Guitar player. Wow.
Chrissie Hynde.
Oh yeah, Chrissie.
Mark Mothersbaugh from Akron.
Yep.
Jerry Casales from Ravenna. He's the other part of Devo, or one of the other parts.
Right.
I got a story about him. Marilyn Manson, Macy Gray, and Boz Scaggs, although Boz Scaggs, I think, grew up in Texas or something, but they were all born in Canton.
Okay.
Kid Cudi. You know who Kid Cudi is?
No, who is he?
Yeah, Kid Cudi's like rapper, dude.
Okay.
Awesome. Fucking
Okay, yeah.
Bobby Womack.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Stanley, Tracy Chapman, the Raspberries and Eric Carmen.
Absolutely.
9 Inch Nails. Mm-hmm. Machine Gun Kelly, all from Cleveland.
Right.
I mean, you have all these. These are all. Every single one of those people I mentioned are fucking
They're incredible.
The only reason you don't know Kid Cudi is because
he's a rapper.
It's in your little right.
But you got to mention Glass Harp from this area.
I wanted to bring that up because you've recorded albums for Glass Harp multiple times.
Worked with them and done some live stuff. John. Great friend of mine.
Phil Keggy.
Phil's a wonderful human being.
What
again.
a player.
Incredible.
Fuck.
When Phil's doing it by himself.
Savage.
He's
another
monster.
one. Fucking, that's it. Frank and I would talk about him all the time.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
Phil is just like, and he's so
humble.
Very.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's good. I mean, but see, again, people say, well, Phil, Phil's here and Jimmy's here. And it says, no, you don't get it. Everybody's on the same plateau. It's just everybody has a different style.
Different. They sound different.
Okay, they just sound different. Phil could play what Jimmy's playing. Jimmy could probably do, and Eric Clapton, and I'll go down 10,000 great guitar players. Lee Ritenour, all these other, who's the other one I'm thinking of right now? Larry Carlton, another great jazz guys. There's so many great players, wonderful people. My Glass Harp story, very quickly. I met these guys. Kent State University, at the branch here.
Oh, okay.
Phil just quit the band, and they had another guitar player. His name's not getting to me right now. I'm sorry. Anyways, they were doing, it was called Henny Penny is the name of the play, okay? And they did original music for this, and Glass Harp couldn't play all the shows, so the one lady that was in our band said, hey, you guys want to do the music for the show? You know, you got to do 8 or 10 shows. You got to learn the songs. I'm going, okay, this is pretty deep. You know, this is daunting. Learning. I'm just out of high school, and glass harp, like they're up there to me. They're like the shit. They still are. But the point is, okay, we got to learn these songs that these guys wrote. Like I said, Phil wasn't there. It was another guitar player. He's a fantastic guy, of course. I can't remember his name. I apologize for that. But that's when I met Dan and Phil. No, I'm sorry, not Phil. I said Phil was not in the band. He quit the band when I met John and Dan. And from then on, it just, you know, we became friends with John. I saw John a lot more because he married some lady from Newton Falls. And she knew me. We knew each other personally and everything. And of course, John would go to Newton Falls. I'd see him. Hey, how you doing? And we'd talk. And then he'd been through a few bands, and I've recorded him, and got to do stuff with glass harp. We did a couple live albums, and then we did that the one Hourglass. That's the name of the album.
Yeah,
That was the last glass harp album. I actually recorded their last show up in Cleveland in 2019 because John got sick, and then he retired, and so did Phil. Phil's retired, basically. He'll only play local gigs in Nashville area. If he could drive there, I guess he could play them. That's what John told me. But John's doing okay. Everybody's always talks to me like he's going to die tomorrow. That's not the case. You know, he's taking care of himself. He's doing good. He's okay.
Where does John live now?
John lives in Howland.
Okay, I thought so, yeah.
Still lives in Howland.
Yeah.
And you know, he's still doing his thing. It's just he's not... It's not glass. The glass harp thing is done pretty much by now. Because I'm sure it'd take a lot of stamina and a lot of work to be able to do another show for him. Okay, so not that you can't do it, John. Of course you could. That's up to you if you want to. Okay, I'll be there to record the fucking thing, though. You can bet.
Nice.
Of course.
I'll be there to listen.
Of course, I would. Of course. So if they ever do anything with this last recording that we did, it was up at it's that place that's on the river up there, the Magic Box? Is that what it's called? The Magic?
I don't know.
I can't think of the name of the place. Sorry. Anyways, but let me jump to the Chrissie Hynde story.
This was a good... I was just going to... Okay. That's good.
Okay, Good. We're on the same page. So, again, Bob Clearmountain's the engineer. This guy...
Just for listeners that are not... Chrissie Hynde is the lead singer of the Pretenders and one of the founding members of the Pretenders.
Right, and she's from Akron, Canton area.
Yeah.
Okay? That's who Chrissie is. So... Bob calls me in because he wants to fix something on the tape machine. Yeah, okay, I go in and I'm, hi, how you doing? To Chrissie, and I'm walking.
Now, do you know who she is at the time?
Oh, I knew who she was.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it was Chrissie. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I just said hi, and that's it. And then I'm fixing the machine. And I'm talking to Bob, and then she comes over to me a little while later. She goes, "You're not from New York. You have a strange accent." I know this accent. Where are you from? I says, "Chrissie, I'm from Ohio." She goes, "Really? Where at?" I says, "You'd never heard of the town." Where? Newton Falls. She's hugging me, saying, "My Buckeye buddy, you're down the street from, oh my God, I'm from Chagrin." She's telling me all this stuff. I said, I can't bleave this. So every day she'd come in,
Did you know she was from Ohio at the time?
Yes, of course I did.
Oh, okay.
I did, but
yeah.
She's the client. Clear Mountain called me and she didn't, but then she comes to me and says, "You know what? You're not up from New York. You have a strange..." I know that accent. She knew I was from this area. That was the way I spoke, because those guys in New York would go, "Hey, you fucking talk like this." I says, "Hey, when you listen to the newscasters, are they fucking talking like this?" "No." "Are they?" "They're from New York, but they ain't fucking doing this shit." Maybe, what's that comedian? Shoot. The Hickory Dickory Dock guy. Remember
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot to...
Hey, Dice.
Yes, Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
He was great. But that's what they would bust my balls, because I didn't have the New York the accent. But I said, hey, when you listen to the newscasters and the people, they don't either.
Yeah.
Even Howard Stern didn't have a New York accent, did he?
Right.
Okay, he's from New York. He didn't fucking talk like this. Again, but Chrissie was such the nicest. That's why I say when I'd come in, or I'd see her come in every day, because I was there already and we're working and everything. "All right," she'd hug me and everything. "My Bucka, how you doing today? Everything good? That's great." And then she'd go do her thing, of course. But she was so nice. Again, see, I wouldn't have expected her to even think that she cared who I was, but she heard my voice going, "He's not from New York. That sounds familiar." Because we speak a certain way here in the Ohio area.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? We have our own colloquial kind of way of speaking, and she recognized it, and she had to know where I was from, and once she found out, it was all great. So
You guys are Buckeye buddies.
we're Buckeye buddies still today. I haven't seen her since, but I'm sure if I reminded her of that thing in Right Track, most of these people, this has happened over 30 years ago, okay? Most of these people, if they remembered any of this, thank you if you remember it. And thank you for being wonderful to me. I do appreciate it. You're wonderful, all you people, all you stars and everybody, all the people I even worked with, you engineers. I didn't even name all you fucking guys down.
Go ahead, name them.
Okay, here's a few more. Hold on.
Man.
There you go. Ron St. Germain, Dave Jordan, Tim Palmer. He was Bowie's engineer. Bob Rose, I told you about Bob. What a great guy. Peter Asher of Peter and Gordon. They were a 60s a band. They were a part of the British Invasion.
A little bit before my time.
A little bit before your time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Keith Diamond, he was the engineer for Mick Jagger's Primitive Cool album.
Oh.
Got to meet, I got to meet Jeff Beck.
No way.
Because he was on the album.
Talk about a player.
Oh, my God. They were doing, the assistant called me, says, Mike, you better get up here, because I'm hearing this song in the background. It's Highway Jam. These guys are jamming. It's Jeff Beck, Doug Wimbish playing bass. G.E. Smith, the guitar player, he was on the Dave Letterman band. I think he was in that band for a while.
Oh,
No, the Saturday Night Live band. That was the band he was in. G.E. Smith, the guitar player. Anyways, Greg Fillinganes, I think, was playing keyboard. So I go up there, and they're at the end of the song, last 4 or 5 minutes. They were playing Freeway Jam by Jeff Beck, okay?
Yeah.
This is a great rockin' tune. Oh, my God. These guys were killing it. They're just killing it. And just because it was the chief tech, I could walk in on anybody. Because I'm not walking in the studio. I'm walking in the control room where we can talk or whatever. The studio's out there where the microphones are. I could walk in and look and sit there and watch anybody sing, watch anybody do their thing. And I got that. I was able to do that, and I took advantage of it. Because I'm like, well, how are they doing? What did they do? What's Mick Jagger do? He does what everybody else does. He'll sing some stuff. Let's do it again. Maybe take it home, listen to it, work on it a little bit more. Let's do it again, sing some more. You know, I realized that I already knew half this shit. It's just that I thought that they did it a little bit different, and they really didn't. They spend more time on it. They work on it, okay? And that was the thing. Like I said, between here and Manhattan, here, everybody's got a limited budget. It's all about money and how much money you got and what you can do. And that's why I'd like to know if there's an engineer that can work as fast as me around here. I'll put my fucking skills up against any of you motherfuckers that think you're faster or better than me, okay? I'll give you the fucking New York attitude 100%. But that notwithstanding, it's when somebody lays something down, I know the next step is says, oh, they're going to want to do vocals, or we're going to do an overdub probably, or they already told me and I'm ahead of it. I'm starting to patch shit and get going. Let's go. I know you're spending your time here, and I'm not going to lollygag and try to make money. That's not my deal. I'll make plenty of money for me, okay? You spend what you want. I'm okay with it. I don't care. I'm not there to make money. I'm there to try to help you. I'm a professional. I care about, sure, I got bills to pay. Yes. But I have enough clients that they help me pay my bills. Like I says, I got a 30-year-old car. I don't need anything. I don't take 10 vacations a year. I don't buy all kinds of shit. I don't need all kinds of shit. I'm happy just being,
The theme in this interview that I keep coming back to in my head is you have gratitude.
Thank you. I do.
You really do. And I think
Constantly.
people that live that way live a more fulfilling life. They're not chasing the next thing that's going to get them high off of, I bought a this, or I bought a that, or
see, I don't need another piece of gear. I don't need it. There are a couple pieces of gear that I'm having built right now that I'm going to be using later. That's beside the point.
Oh,
but
that's cool.
In the
studio?
Yeah, I'll use it in the studio.
Yeah.
It's a couple of, I happen to find, do you know what a Fairchild 670 is?
I don't.
Of course not. So that is what they used to master records on, okay? That compressor today, if you have an original one now, we're building one, this guy from England made a copy of it, and I found some guy on Reverb, he half built the thing, but then he stopped because I guess he ran out of money. So I bought it from him, and we're going to continue building it. I'll finish it. But if you were to buy one of these boxes, the original box now, made in the early 60s, late 50s, early 60s.
What's the dimensions?
It's about this wide, 19 inches wide, probably about 19 inches deep, and it's about this tall, okay? Today, if you were to buy one of the original ones, $320,000.
And what does it do?
It's a compressor. It's a stereo compressor. And when they were making records at that time, you had to understand that there's a physics to making records. I had to learn this. You could only cut a record groove so deep, and you had to watch out for the bass, because that's what took the record groove width up. And they had to watch where the bass was. So what the compressor did was it held the level so the bass wouldn't overload it, or, because mixing guys would mix their own way. They'd master it, and then they had to put on a record, and it had to fit on there and not jump out of the groove. When they cut a vinyl record, they'd run it through this compressor, and they'd adjust it. Here we go again. They'd adjust it. Being Italian, that's what happens.
Everybody does it.
I know. Well,
these are bad placements for these fucking...
No, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's okay. Anyways, you would adjust this compressor so that the music would fit on the... They would adjust it so that it would compress it enough so that it fit on the record. And most recording engineers would tell you if they put that on the console stereo bus, like your 2-track output bus there, it would... To them, they use the word glue everything together, okay? Now, today when I mix, as soon as I got this plugin, I have a 670 plugin. That's what I use on my stereo bus when I'm mixing all the time. Because for me, and I just use a little bit. I don't crush the shit out of stuff. Again, that's got to know how much to use, or I have my own flavor of doing it is what it is. So I use a 670, but I'm mixing in the box. I don't use the recording console to mix anymore. What's the point? Because here we go with saving time. Today, when I do a session, like your session, you came in, you did it, we close that. Where we left off is where we pick back up, because if I had to do it the old-fashioned way, I got to patch all that shit in. I'd have to patch compressors in. Yeah. I got to set the EQ back to the way it was. The faders have to be in the same place. I had automation. We could do half of this, but the other stuff, at Right Track, when we set up a mix and they tore it down and did another mix, it'd probably take a couple hours, 2 to 4 hours possibly, to patch all the gear in, because you couldn't even see the patch bay. There was so much patching going on, okay? They used all the outboard gear, the compressors, the EQs, the limiters, whatever we had, effects, everything. Today, the computer allows me to pop where I left off at the song the last time, pop, and now we can go to work. We're not waiting 45 minutes for me to patch shit and get everything right where it was before we continue on. We can't. That's why I love the computer. I don't care about, mixing on a console. I'm used to it, and I have a console I use, and it's good for me to cut tracks on and everything, but when I'm mixing in the box, because I can have 5 of these compressors, 7 of those EQs. I don't have that in my rack, that many. I can have it in software as many as I want.
Sure.
The only problem with it, as Chris Lord-Alge, he's done some plugins. Chris Lord-Alge, another great recording engineer. He's worked at Right Track also.
Okay.
He says it this way: all the plugins are great, but they're vanilla. They're all, that one compressor you use is based off of one compressor that they modeled from, okay? You could buy 10 of them and they might sound a little different, and you got to be really good to hear the difference. You'd have to care that much about it. There are some retentive guys that they care, and they want all that fucking gear, and they want that. Okay. But like I said, I'm in Northeast Ohio. We don't need to do all that. I still can make records on what I got today easily. I got plenty of software, plenty of outboard software gear that I use. And all that outboard equipment you see, I use it. It depends. If I can't find a sound, if I'm looking for something new, I'll jump over there, run it through that. There you go. I got what I need. That sounds better. That's what I want. Couldn't get it in the computer. I'll just jump out in the patch it out, my computer channel. I'm going to use this flanger because I got this. Couldn't find a flanger that made it sound as good as this MXR that I got, and I can get this sound. Boom, I can do that. Or if a reverb doesn't make me happy, I can go to this reverb, punch it up, put it in, and record it into the computer, put the signal in, record it, so I got it. So I bring up as much as I want in the mix. It's there. It's, again, all that outboard equipment I have is like having a toolbox full of tools, and I pull the screwdriver out when I need it, a wrench, a hammer, whatever.
So this piece of equipment that you're, this compressor that you're creating,
okay,
or rebuilding, I should say.
I'm building it just to have one. It will not make that much of a difference to anybody except me that I have one.
That's
and
cool.
I'm going to use it when I want to. Okay? That's all this is. Again, that's like saying, well, I got a garage full of cars. I got 2 Mustangs. I got 3 Corvettes. But I got to have a Bugatti. I don't know why. It would be nice to have it and just, I could touch it and you know what. I don't have to pay $325,000. I've already put a couple thousand into it. It won't take me that much more to get it done. And I'll have it. See what being a technical guy, I can fix it. I can build it.
And a pretty good winemaker, too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I couldn't.
That's my dad.
I couldn't wait any longer,
you
so
don't
I had
have
to sample a little bit.
You should. I wanted you to.
It's delicious.
It was for you, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate
People do like the taste of it, and I'm glad they do.
I feel smooth now.
Yeah, as you should.
Do you want to?
Like Santana? Let me finish.
Yeah, hit those people up.
So, Keith Diamond, Michael Barbiero, Ray Bardani. He was the engineer for Marcus Miller. This guy, another great. He was a guy that smoked a lot. He would be at the console smoking all the time, engineering and everything. But again,
Did the smoke fuck up the equipment? You know, you always hear people like...
It probably could.
Yeah.
But we kept the place clean every time.
It's not like you're blowing into that.
No.
Yeah.
They're blowing it up in the air, whatever.
Yeah.
They're sitting there and, it's hanging out. They don't get ashes on the console. They got an ashtray and everything. It's not good for it, of course. But it's even worse for you, okay?
Right.
Fuck the equipment.
Yeah.
What about what it's doing to you, okay?
Right.
Keith Forsey, he was the engineer for Billy Idol. Great guy. Another Ed Stasium, he's the engineer. He did the who was the I Want to Be Sedated. What was the band?
Sing it maybe, and I'll...
I want to be sedated.
Yeah, shit.
That's okay. Anyways, Jason Miles, Michael Frondelli, Frank Filippetti, Chris Lord Alge, I just mentioned him. These guys, these are engineers, okay? These are just some of the engineers, the ones I could remember. And I apologize if I don't remember anybody else. Forgive me, guys, because it's been 30 years, so I'm trying to remember. I had to look in the computer for some of these albums that we worked on. Even in the computer, I was looking up Dirty Work. They didn't even mention Right Track, that it was recorded in Barbados and this other place. They didn't say nothing about Right Track. I'm going, but then when you look at the credits, that guy's from Right Track. That guy's from Right. They're assistants or the female. There was female and male assistants. We had both. And you'd say, oh, so-and-so, I remember her. Yeah. And this guy, yeah, the assistants. So even when you go online, they don't have all the perfect information. They didn't have everything right about the album because I'm going, hey, they recorded some of this shit and mixed it at Right Track. I know because I was there. And there's the people's names that work there. Even though they didn't mention it in the discography and stuff like that. I didn't look at the album itself. The physical one, maybe it's written on there, but it's not when you go online and you look at on that information stuff. So,
well, that's cool. You're shining a light on these guys. They're the unsung heroes of music,
basically. But if you're like me, you know who these guys are. They're engineers. They're great engineers, and they made obviously great music. Okay, fantastic music. Obviously, the music of the '60s, '70s, '80s, '90s too. There was some great bands. After that, of course, the business changed. I remember when I opened up, there was a guy named Lance Poe. He's a guy that would record all these rappers from this area in the 90s.
Yeah, I remember Lance. Lance used to do, he would have, was it like Boogie Down Productions? He would put these shows on.
Yep.
And we actually did some video when I was working at Advantage Video with Mike Sparacino, and Lance and I would sit and edit together.
Wonderful.
Awesome, dude. And he's actually...
He's getting out of prison.
Yes.
He's about to get out. Now, but because he called, one of his friends called me.
Yes.
And said, Mike, you still have those tapes that we did years ago? I says, I certainly do. I got to find them. I keep everything. I don't throw nothing away, okay? I found the ADAT tapes. These are those videotapes,
Yeah.
And then I said, Lance, you need to write me a letter to say that, that Tommy can take these. Yeah, because Lance is going to be getting out soon, and they want to redo this, and they're going to be doing they're going to talk about the Warren, Youngstown area, about him being the first actually rap producer in this area that was trying to push some of these cats into rap music, for this area.
Yeah.
So I told him, well, I'll tell you right now, if I didn't tell you, I told Tommy, if you want to use the studio as a backdrop for some of this shit to do some video, come on, Lance, come on over.
Awesome.
Okay? I ain't going to charge you. You know that. You paid me every fucking time. That guy, see, again, when people treat you good, I could never forget him.
Right.
Never. He even, just before he went away, because I didn't know he even went away. I didn't know till years later he went to prison for what he did. He brought this black bag, and I put tapes in it. There happened to be a diaper in there. So in an old, it was a paper diaper because he had some kids probably, but it wasn't a used one. It was fresh. So I told Tom, I says, hey, he gets the black bag and the diaper, and he started laughing. He goes, I remember that. That was great. But see, that's what I'm saying. I don't keep everybody's tape. When it was 2-inch tape, the project was done, take your tape home. I'm not holding it in my library because my library would be so full of stuff, and I'm not responsible for your stuff. Same thing with the ADAT tapes or computers now. When the project's over, I tell them, bring me a thumb drive.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on your thumb drive. Bring me 2. I would recommend 2 so you have a double backup because Murphy don't give a fuck who you are.
Right.
He'll, if he's got an open door, he'll show you what he'll do to you.
Yeah.
So I ask people, here you go, double backup this, take your stuff off my computer so I can clean it, and I need to make room for the other projects that I'm doing. I'm not going to keep buying hard drives and keep your shit forever.
I feel like this conversation is directed towards me. Like, hurry the fuck up and get back to the studio.
No, it isn't.
I'm kidding.
Okay, you should be.
But I feel like...
Yeah, you can feel like that.
I should. I'm like...
Have I ever called you and told you?
Fuck no.
No, I don't do that to anybody.
But I
tell
think
that
about that.
Yes, you should.
In my studio, because I'm like, all right, I got to delete this project. This guy's I'm no longer working with them.
Right.
I'll put it in a backup, but at the same time, sometimes that shit gets fucked up.
Yes. Back it up.
I got to get back into Toontown so I can finish my little passion projects.
I did.
As soon as this head cold goes away.
Well, when that head cold goes away, we'll just continue on. It's not a problem. I did a bass track for you on one. One song.
How the fuck did you remember that? Yeah. It's almost 2 years ago now.
See, again.
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
The time just goes.
Right.
You don't think about, oh man, it's been this long.
Right.
Thank you for letting me do a bass track. Even, like you said, some of the local guys, let me get some of these guys, because some of these guys, they let me play on their stuff. Also, who was it? Damien. And then, what's his name? Oh, Gary Perrung.
Oh,
do you know who Gary is?
Fuck yeah.
What that guy's
he's
incredible.
Another savage. He would fucking play so hard. Gary had to have multiple strings, and I never saw a guy string a guitar and tune it as fast as Gary.
Yeah, he's good.
Gary used to play it Sully. He played all over the place.
Sure.
Boom, but I mean, fucking play. You could hear him from the parking lot. He'd play so hard, and bang, he'd pop a string. He'd finish the song.
Yeah.
Zip, zip,
let's go. Dope.
Be ready to play again.
And his voice. I love the way his voice sounds.
Awesome.
It's like he's drank two bottles of gravel, and it's just like, damn. But he sounds so good. It's so
great.
Sweet.
Yeah.
To him, I don't know what he thinks he sounds like, but I think he sounds great.
He's
like
a great dude, too.
He's like a Joe Cocker kind of like voice. There's another guy, Doug Thomas.
Fucking.
Another motherfucker.
I call Doug Thomas the voice.
He is.
Fucking
He's
awesome.
great. I love Doug. Another great person.
Talk about a guy that sounds like Joe Cocker.
There you go.
Shit.
Or Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the David Clayton Thomas guy. Another.
I still got to make it out to see him and Karaoke and all those guys in the Chicago. What the hell is it called?
I can't remember the name of the band.
Fuck, man. I'm sorry, Doug.
That's okay. Yeah, well, he knows.
Damn it. I can see the thing, too. It'll come to me.
Their keyboard player, Dominic Rito.
Dom's a fucking another killer.
Another
killer.
Yes. Again, these guys are so.
Dom and his wife are two of the sweetest people,
yes.
man.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him.
They play at RTR.
Well, and they had the Serpentine Fire thing here at the Robbins.
Oh, yeah,
last month, I think it was. No, February. End of February. I recorded that. Yeah. Dom was the keyboard player. Mariano Longo.
Wait, I was just going to say, was that Mariano Longo's thing?
That was Mariano's thing, and he brought this drummer from...
And Dominic Tomasini, I'm pronouncing his name wrong. He opened for that. He was the guitar player that opened for the Serpentine Fire, or maybe he played with those guys.
Okay.
Tomasi, Dominic Tomasi. Ah, fuck, I forget his last. Can't remember. I'm getting his last name and Kathy Tomasi's name confused.
Right. I remember that
Tomasino.
he was a young guy and he played great guitar player.
Yeah, he was one of Frank's students.
Okay.
Yeah,
and shows it.
Yeah, he's in Nashville now.
Oh, he's excellent.
Yeah.
Like I said, whoever Mariano brought this drummer, and I'm going, I've never seen this guy before around here. I bet you he's from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And when I talked to Mariano, he says, yeah, because when you heard this guy play, oh, baby, he carried the band. That's, to me, there's the heart of the band is the drummer.
Yeah.
That's the big part of any kind of, when you got horns or if you got a rock band, if the drummer's not being solid and driving you,
You're fucked.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically. You won't sound cohesive, okay? I don't need a drummer that follows. I need a drummer that leads.
Yeah.
Because he knows where his time is. I can be with him. Being a bass player, and that's what I would call myself more than anything else.
You know Dave Throckmorton?
Want to be debt-free faster, save money in taxes and insurance, and retire with more wealth? Call Zach Byler of Prosperity Partners Financial Solutions today for full-service financial advisory. 330-219-5225. If you're looking to buy new or sell your current home or commercial property in Northeast Ohio or Northwestern Pennsylvania, look no further than Brokers Realty at brokerssold.com. Top Shelf Bar, 450 wines on hand, and your choice of local craft beers, including Modern Methods Brewery Double IPA, now available at the Station Square Restaurant.
You know Dave Throckmorton? Do you remember Dave Throckmorton? He's a Pittsburgh player. He plays with Good Brother Earl and some other guys.
Yeah.
But Tom Groth is a big fan of Dave's because he's a jazz drummer.
Right.
But he also plays rock. J.R. Richley's another, Jim
Tommy
Richley's
Ruggieri? You know Tommy Ruggieri?
No.
Oh, he's another great. He plays in the Packard band. He's a drummer.
Okay.
And he played with Joe Augustine. Swings like nobody's business. JR's another great player.
Yeah, JR's
He's
great.
very good.
Yep.
Bob Batcha. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
A name.
Another motherfucker. What a drummer, that guy. He kills it every time. Bob's a great guy. Reads. He was the Lawrence Welk Orchestra's music director for a while.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and he played in Reno and did all kinds of gigs. So this guy knows it backwards and forwards. He's, again, another great player from the area that you don't have to know them all, but
Right.
rattle
some off. Rattle some real motherfuckers off.
Terry Barrett. You know who Terry
The Terry
is?
Barrett Band.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's still making music and everything, and he's from Newton Falls.
Yeah.
So,
is that right?
Yes.
Oh, no shit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He had an album called Newton Falls, and it was Newton, and the apple was falling off the tree.
That's
so
cool.
It was cute.
That's
yes.
cool.
But Terry's been a good friend, and another. He's a great guitar player, man. He doesn't think he's that good, but he plays left-handed, so he strums and feels different when he's playing. You know what I mean? When I get Terry to play something, it's not like a regular guitar player. He likes the Afro-Cuban Latin kind of stuff. So he's funky in his own way. How about the Confessors? Have you ever heard of those guys?
I have not.
They're a local blues band from Newton Falls. Young guys. They're just out of high school not too long ago. Okay, I got to play bass with them one time because their bass player left them, and they were in the studio and they're going, we got a gig Saturday and no bass player. And says, I'll play. They're just blues tunes, 3 chords. I could do that. Don't have to. I learned the songs, of course. Tell me what you're doing and I'll learn the songs. Wouldn't be that hard. They were fun. It was great. Again, I didn't want to be their bass player because they need to get a young guy like the band is, okay?
Yeah,
they don't need an old guy like me to fucking... And I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that because they'd play a lot. But they're another good band. I got to mention... You ever know a guy named Roger Hatfield?
Oh, Roger.
Okay.
Fucking awesome. Yeah.
Uncle Duker is what I called that guy. He was the sweetest. He's the guy that wanted me to be a producer. He taught me, in a way, to be a producer and a better recording engineer. And look, I can't say enough about Roger. I miss him greatly. He was a great friend, would come to the studio, but...
Great horn player.
Great everything.
Yeah.
He was a wonderful person.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful person.
I met him through Mike Sparacino at Advantage Video.
Right. Okay, good. You knew him. That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
And he actually hired me on a gig. He was friends with Tom Schroth, the architect, who built the house that Dave Grohl's father lived in.
Okay.
And he had a house in Niles. and it was across the street. I don't remember the name of the street. You remember where Hardee's was on? I think it's Niles Avenue. Before you get into downtown, it was Hardee's was like up on the hill.
Okay.
There was a video store at some point. Anyways,
Yeah.
it's not a great, now it's not like
Right.
a great neighborhood, but John Anderson's wife, I'm trying to think her name. You would know her. She was friends with Roger, and Roger recommended him, and they said, "Oh, we want you to shoot this house." Mm-hmm. And I go, "Well, what the fuck?
Right.
What am I supposed to shoot?
Yeah, what do you want me to shoot?
When you get into the house, you'll see." And this guy's house was fucking amazing. And we produced this video. Roger produced a video. It was called "He Draws Lines," and it was about this architect. Mm-hmm. And the house was just a normal looking house from the outside. It fit in with any, house that was built in the 1940s or whenever the fuck they were built in the house. When you went inside, it was like a fucking museum. This is the same guy that designed the Butler in Howland.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And just absolutely. Anyways, Roger Hatfield, man, was
I went with Roger.
Awesome
We
dude.
went to we did a video shoot. He was doing exercise videos.
Yeah, he was a Tybo. Not Tybo.
Well, he did all kinds of.
Before Tybo, he was. What's the girl's name? She did.
There's more than one that he worked with. There was a couple of them.
Yeah.
And we went to Cancun one time to shoot the video. We had so much fun. That was great. I'll never forget that. Again, Roger, what a great.
Did he live out in Bezetta
He lived in Bezetta.
Off of Bezetta Road.
Then he moved to out close to Dayton, I'm going to say.
Okay.
He married some lady, wonderful lady, Cindy. And then he would come in once in a while and we'd record some stuff, some of his songs. He'd have a singer come in because they'd come from Pittsburgh or somewhere around here. And that was local for them. And he'd come to the studio and we'd do stuff.
Yeah.
I remember one day, how Roger was big guy. He was a big guy.
Yeah.
So one day he sits down in one of my chairs. He leans back and he breaks this is a piece of steel that's probably about 1.5 inches wide or long and a 1/2 inch thick. He broke that he leaned back, pow, and he fell off. I thought he had a heart attack.
Oh, jeez.
He scared the shit out of me. He's laying there laughing his ass off. I'm going, you fucking, oh my, God damn it. He goes,
He had a recording studio in his house, too.
Sure he did.
In Bezetta.
Yeah, because I was his engineer there.
Oh, no shit.
Yes, I helped him build that. He had a CAD console.
Yeah.
I installed it for him. Yes, exactly.
Okay. That was beautiful, that his setup up there.
Well, he was here in Warren, too. He had a place right here above the clothing store on the corner. What's this?
Oh, yeah. Howard's?
Yes.
Yeah.
He had a place above Howard's.
Was he in with Gary Bogus?
No, Gary was a separate thing.
Gary was a couple doors down, too.
He was a separate thing.
That's right.
Yes. See if there's anybody else I'm missing.
Don't forget anybody.
Well, I'll try not. Jody Daniels. I don't know if you know who Jody is.
Jody Daniels is a bass player and a
guitar player,
yeah,
a drummer,
and
a keyboard player. He's a monster on every fucking instrument. He's like, I'll tell you who I work with. This reminds me of him. And Jody, you deserve this, my brother. Prince.
Yeah, right.
I got a gig. So this guy at CAD, the chief tech at CAD, the tech guy, because I was the field service guy. I left CAD, I think it was a year after, and he calls me, says, Mike, we got to go fix a studio. Are you in? I said, sure, yeah, that's cool. Where's it at? He says, well, I can't tell you whose studio it is, but it's in Minnesota. I go, oh, Prince's studio? No kidding. He goes, how'd you know? I says, well, that's the only place.
Minnesota, yeah.
Exactly,
right.
Thank you. So we go there. This place is $2 million rooms, okay? Literally. Big SSL console in one room. I know about SSL consoles. I know about Studer tape machines. Of course, that's why he called me, my buddy Dennis. We go there. We spend a week finding some problems, ordering parts. Came back 2 or 3 weeks later. Spent another week putting the parts in, fixing stuff, and then finding more problems. Prince had $2 million studios, okay? They were worth $1 million a piece easily in his compound there. He had to go record at other recording studios, okay? Whoever was his tech before, I don't know if he was breaking the shit on purpose. I don't know what was going on. Doesn't matter. I was there to fix stuff. This guy, so we get done fixing everything. It takes a month. Took 4 weeks, I should say, because it wasn't a month in time. It probably took 3 months total in time, because I'd go there, we'd order parts, come back 2 weeks later. fix. Find other problems, order parts, come back 2 or 3 weeks later, fix. Until we got the studio totally 100% working, everything's happening. He wants to record. Prince wants to record. He has an assistant engineer. The guy's scared to death that something might break. And I'm going, I'll fucking assistant, no problem. You sure? And I go, yeah, I'd love to. This would be fun and get to watch Prince do his shit, okay? And like I said, he was cool about it, nice guy. So we're doing shit, something breaks. Oh, I thought I paid. I says, hey, Prince, listen, I own a recording studio. You know why I'm a tech? Because shit breaks all the time, my brother, and I'm fixing it. He started laughing. He was trying to catch me, but he got it. We were laughing. Now, let me tell you a story about this guy. This guy was he's the best musician I've ever worked for in my whole life. When he sat down, he played guitar. He killed it. He's a guitar player. He played bass, sounded like a bass player, and killed it. He had what's his name? Can't remember his first name, Graham, from Graham Central Station. He was in Sly and the Family Stone, the bass player from Sly and the Family Stone. He had him there to play bass, but Prince would pick up the bass and start playing bass. Then Prince goes, I got to lay down some piano. Let me warm up. This motherfucker's playing classical shit on the piano. I'm like, what planet is this guy from? I can't believe it. He's killing it on guitar. He's killing it on bass. And he's doing all the instruments. You know, he's playing all the shit, one piece at a time. He lays that down. He had the drum machine, so he had the tempo thing laid down first. He did that first. He goes, yeah, I'm going to have to add some drums to this. Go set up the drums in the other room and I'll do that. I'm like, oh, wow. Let's see what this is all about. So we set the drums up, got them mic'd and sounding good. He took my breath away. This guy played drums, not like a hack or like a half drummer, like he'd been playing them for 100 fuck. When I tell you Prince was a musician that was he touched an instrument, he made it talk. I never in my whole life saw anybody. I saw great players, don't get me wrong. Marcus Miller plays bass great, I'll bet you. He plays a baritone clarinet like a motherfucker too. I've seen great players, but when I saw Prince, and he's doing all the tracks himself. He had great players in his band. He could have had him come in and do stuff. No, this guy was on another fucking planet. He was incredible, talented dude. I got to tell you a quick story about it too. So he was a vegetarian, okay? I didn't know this. Nobody said nothing to me. When I work for somebody, I'm there the whole time. So I went out, got a hamburger and some French fries, and I'm sitting there eating, working, okay? It's lunchtime, but I'm working. I only have a week, and I got to go because, you know, I got to get shit done. I'm eating this hamburger, and the guy comes in, he goes, what the fuck? And he grabs out of my hand, puts all the shit runs out the door, comes back 5 minutes later. He says, Mike, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you, Prince doesn't like to smell meat, nothing like that. He'll fire all of us. He wasn't in town, luckily, but when he saw me eating there, and I'm working, I'm, you know, doing my work, trying to figure out a problem with the circuit board, and he says, look, I love that you want to work and everything. He gave me the keys to the car. He says, take the car, whenever you go to lunch, go eat what you want and come back. Don't bring no meat here, please. It's okay, dude, no problem. But again, see. Now,
Prince don't like no meat. What do you mean you don't like no meat?
Yeah, well, he was a vegetarian. I get it.
Circle back to Jody Daniels real quick, though.
Jody.
Because,
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, the last album we did with Billy Beck, we just did a gospel album, and Jody was the co-producer, and he played shit on this stuff, and he mixed it. What a great album this is. You got to get this album when it comes out.
He'll post stuff on Facebook that he's doing, and you know, I'm not obviously a trained musician or whatever, but I watch him. I go, holy shit! Probably shortly before Frank passed away, he was like, "Man, you got to meet this dude, Jody Daniels." Then I said, "Oh yeah, what's this?" He goes, and Frank's whole thing, like, if Frank thought you were
anything.
I use the term savage.
Yeah.
If Frank thought you were fucking awesome, you were like, you know.
Yeah, you're there.
He's like, this dude is a motherfucker.
He's off the hook.
He goes, I think they met at a music store or something, and they were fucking around or whatever. And he goes, this dude sat down, and I'm telling you, he was a motherfucker.
He is.
I go, what? Who is this guy? And then I met him, you know, afterwards or whatever.
Great bubbly personality.
Yeah, real cool. Seems real cool.
He's
We've
very
talked
cool.
a few times online
Sure.
or whatever.
No. And when I work with him, is I good? And like I said, see, now Billy said he's going to mix the album, and I didn't go,
Right.
no, let him mix
You
it.
got your fucking ego, man. Yeah.
I didn't care. I said, let him do it. Billy wants him to do it. He let me master it. I got to master the album. That's okay. And I got to work with him. I've already done an album with Billy before. It's okay. See, that's what I'm saying. Because I write my own material and do my own stuff, whatever you want to do, go ahead. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Well,
at all.
and that gives you a real different perspective to look from too.
Yes.
Because you are not only. That's why I kind of got into acting a little bit. Because I kept feeling like, how the fuck am I going to direct these people if I don't know how to do this shit myself?
Exactly. And
I actually think being a director, made me a better actor.
Of course it would.
You know?
Well, you're thinking now on two levels.
Yeah,
not
right.
just one.
Right.
Okay, same thing with me being a musician, as well as being a tech and a recording engineer, a producer. I can put many hats on, and that's a good thing. But again, that's how you learn more about what you're doing. I wanted to learn how to fix my guitar amp. That's where this whole fucking journey started.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know how to fix. I thought it was important. It wasn't. It was important, yeah, but not as it was to write music and make it and learn the technical stuff of. I was able to plug my shit in. I knew how signal flow and all that. That all came to me easy. That was good. I had a great teacher, 2 great electronics teachers. When I was in high school, I was a C student at best because I was working at the bakery. I didn't give a fuck about school that much. In high school, who does care? You know what I mean? Come on. You're not a person until you get out in the real world and then show who you really are.
Right.
So when I went to this electronics school, I immersed myself, and these 2 teachers that were there, I've never been taught like this before. The way that they cared, they saw what you were into. I tried to build an electronic circuit, and this guy says, does it work? And I go, no, and I don't know why. And he goes, sit here after class and we'll go through it. He could have went home to have dinner. He sat with me for 2 hours till we fixed the fucking problem. We went through it, and I'm going, oh, I see where I missed. Oh, I see now. I learned how to read a schematic better because of him. Doc Doherty was the one guy. He used to be the, if I'm not mistaken, I think at WVIZ Channel 25 in Akron, he used to be the chief tech guy there when he taught electronics. And there was another guy, Morton, I think. I'm sorry, I forgot. I know he's not alive. Neither of these guys are alive today. But these 2 guys, they spent time with me. They were nice to me. I'll never forget people. Do you know a guy named Johnny Krasancic?
I don't.
He owned a studio in Sharon, Pennsylvania, okay? We called him the Polka Hammer. He has a Grammy for polka. He's dead now. He's passed away. But there's another guy.
A Del Sinchek guy? Or
Yeah.
with Del?
Well, he had his own studio, of course, and he recorded polka music in Sharon, okay? And anytime I'd go there with somebody that was recording, I'd sit there, and Johnny was so nice to me. I didn't record there. I didn't spend any money there, but he was always nice to me. I went to New York. When I came back, he's always calling me, Mike, come and fix this. Come over here, blah, blah, blah. Okay? He treated me like he knew I was going to be in the business and do something someday. For some reason, he knew that. I don't know how he saw it. And again, how can I not appreciate people that...
You got a good vibe, man.
If you don't appreciate people, you're fucked up.
We're only on this planet for a finite amount of time.
That's right.
And
that's right.
Like, give this shit out there.
Give it away, man.
Yeah.
Okay? What the fuck?
Mike Talanca.
Yes, sir.
Tell me
Yes.
tell the prodders, that's what I
Yes.
refer to our listeners, our prodders. Tell the prodders, anybody that's listening, how do they get a hold of you? Where will they find Toontown, and how can they book and all that good stuff?
Okay.
Give us your handles.
Call me at my phone number, 330-872-3365. Don't text that number because it's a landline.
Fucking landline.
Okay, folks? People have texted me, says, I left you text. I says, what phone number? Oh, it's a landline. Really? You got a landline still? What the fuck? Okay.
Website?
www.toontownrec, that's spelled TUNETOWNREC.com. You'll see what kind of gear I have. I'm going to be updating it soon. It probably says that I still do 2-inch tape, but I'm not fixing those machines at this time. They've been shut off for over 5 years, so I'm not doing 2-inch tape. I'm going to record digital. You're not going to want to pay $300 anyways for a reel of tape for 15 minutes of recording. Why would you do that? I wouldn't tell anybody today Why do you have to record on tape? It doesn't matter. It's not about, again, let's go back to, it's not about the equipment. It's about the person that's playing. I've had medium equipment, recorded cats, and had some of the best sounds because of what they laid down, not because of the gear. I'm not saying you can't have good gear. I'm not saying you shouldn't have good stuff. Of course. But you can have the greatest stuff. If you don't know how to use it, you can wipe your ass with it. It ain't going to do you any good, right?
Amen.
If you know how to play guitar and you know to do what you're doing, pow. Weren't you going to ask me about, and we can still.
I was going to, but I got to get, I mean, we're fucking.
You got to go.
We're pressing on 3 hours
Really?
here now. Fuck yeah.
No way.
We're over 3 hours. Of course. I told you, I said,
I'm full of that much bullshit.
We'll do 90 minutes in no time.
Okay.
This is like really great because it's a living, breathing history about what you've done, but also like this is like a master's class in a sense of what the business is like, how the recording is. But let's do it since you brought it up because I don't want to.
Quickly, yeah.
I got three, for those who are not watching, I've got 3 microphones in front of Mike. One of them is a AT2020, what would be considered a vocal mic. It's the same microphone that we are using on the podcast. One of them is like a cardioid. I don't know what the fuck. There's a condenser mic.
Condenser, cardioid,
and
then isn't this the same thing? I can't see.
Yeah, I think it's a.
Yeah, I think so. Condenser, cardioid,
or unidirectional. I don't know what the fuck it. Anyways, I thought it would be kind of funny, or not funny, but we got 3 microphones. You're gonna record a 4-piece band
with 3 microphones.
With 3 microphones, you got a drummer, a bass player, a guitar player, and a vocalist.
Hold on.
It's all right.
Okay,
that's that flip phone again.
It's my daughter this time.
Well, you better get it.
Didn't I tell you I was doing an interview? I'm still in the middle of it. I love you. I'll talk to you later, sweetie. Bye, honey. I'll call you.
What a sweetheart, man.
Oh, she's wonderful.
That's awesome.
I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have 2 great kids, is all I can say.
Blessed.
Very much so. So anyways.
Newton Falls is blessed to have you. The greater Warren, Trumbull County, Mahoning. I talk about you to my music friends all the time. If they haven't heard of you, I'm always like, hey, you know Mike Talanca out of Toontown? Like, no. I say, you should go out there and fucking know this guy.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Again, if people want to come to me, like I said, call me. Don't text me. Call me on my phone. If I don't answer, leave a message on the answer phone. I'll leave your phone number, and I'll call you back, and we'll go from there. Okay? It's that simple.
Is there an email address also on the website?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It should be mtalanca1@gmail. So that's MTALANCA, the number 1 @gmail.com. If you want to email me, you can. So we're going to use 3 mics. We're going to record the whole band.
The best we can.
Okay. And what am I using for? I can use my computer. I got to have an interface for the computer. So now, does it have maybe 4 inputs?
Yeah, let's say it's this mixer.
Okay.
Right?
All right. It's your little Pro FX, and that's got. Okay, so we're going to run vocals through that possibly, right?
I'm asking you. This is beyond my fucking pay.
Well, this is what I would do. This is what I would do.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a PA system, I would take a feed off of that and run it into my recorder so I got vocals. They're not, again, we only got 4 channels, let's say we're doing. I put 1 mic on the drum set overhead, okay? I would put 1 mic on the guitar player, and I'd put 1 mic on the bass amp. Now, if there's a keyboard player, I would try to run it. Here's the problem. More inputs you have, the better off you are, obviously, for your interface. Most of them have 2 or 4 inputs. Some have 6 or 8. If you got 8 inputs, great. I could take the output of the keyboard player's keyboard. I have a direct box. That's a device that you can split the signal with. I can take a signal and then you can send it to a mixer, whatever you want to do. Or he could send it to his amp at the same time. I would take a signal off of that and record that direct to keyboard, let's say, okay? So if you got to have an interface that'll do more than 4 inputs if you're going to do what I want to do. But if you're down to bare nothing, let's say you got 2 inputs, that's it. You'd take 1 microphone and put it out in front of the band, and you're going to have to experiment. This is the whole thing with when you're doing live recording. You'd have to do rehearsal there. Set up, do a rehearsal. Put 1 microphone out front, take one feed off of the PA system. So you got vocals, and now you got the whole band, and there's your 2 tracks, and that's what you got to work with. Okay? Cheap and easy. If you
Rock
want to
and
go
roll.
there. Yeah, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what I would do if I had a band and I was going to go in the studio and I've got original songs. We'd work those songs up. We'd be recording them and listening to them at the end of the rehearsal or before the next rehearsal. We'd talk about it. Right now, if I would record and give everybody an MP3 or a CD of the song, so that they could take it home. Do some homework. Everybody needs to do some homework. Work on your part. If you think somebody else is fucking it up or not doing it right, talk to them about it. Don't point your finger and tell them unless you're a drummer that's as good as Prince, you can't tell a drummer what to play, okay? Or a guitar player. Drummer can't tell a guitar player what to play unless he plays guitar. Okay, I understand if you think that you're an instrumentalist, that's great, but you better be able to play the instrument before you can tell somebody how to do it. Because when I have cats come in to play for me, I don't tell them, I say, play what you feel. Well, what do you think I should play, Mike? I said, look, if I fucking knew, I'd play it myself, don't you think? Huh? What do you think I got you here for? I want you to play, give me some input. And that's why I give credit to everybody that plays on my stuff or sings on my stuff, because it's not just me, it's them. They're giving me a piece of them, okay? Getting back to this, though, I'm sorry. So in today's world, you got to have a computer and an interface. A few microphones helps. You don't need anything else. What you need to do is record a lot more. Learn how to edit in your computer. Learn how to use the EQ. Learn how to use the effects in the computer. This is a learning process. Like I says, for as many years as I've done it, I'm still learning. I haven't done every little thing. I'm learning. I'm still plying my trade, as it were, okay? I'm not going to be done learning. I'll be done learning when I'm dead.
When they're throwing dirt in your face.
Then I'm done.
Which hopefully is a long time
Amen,
from now.
my brother.
Amen.
Amen.
Hey, Prodders out there, I appreciate, and Mike appreciates you listening.
Thank you, Prodders. God bless every one of you in every crevice you have.
I so appreciate you coming. It has been...
Thank you for having me.
Man,
I can't believe we went 3 hours.
Of course.
Oh, man, this goes too quick.
Yeah.
I could see why Joe Rogan, they do the same thing, says, that was how much time? I don't believe it.
It's hard. It's funny because it's like, this isn't my quote-unquote bread and butter.
No.
But we're like, why are you fucking... And I'm like, man, it's a lot of time. It's so much fun.
Right.
I'm having a blast. I was driving here this morning, and I was like, or this afternoon.
Right.
I'm like, this is fucking great. Like, I can't wait to sit down and talk to this guy and get educated and inspired. And hopefully other listeners will do the same thing.
I did homework. We didn't even talk about some of the other shit, and it's okay.
Maybe we'll do another episode.
It's up to you. You'll let me know. I'd be more than happy to pick it up, or we can just keep talking shit all we'd want to. Okay, my brother? I'm good with it. I appreciate it. I really, and again, see, now how much can I say, do I appreciate you? Like a motherfucker, because who's going to ask me to go do an interview? This interview could last 100 years. Somebody could look at this and say, hey, that fucker's been dead for 20 years, but he's still talking. That's what I love our technology for. John Lennon's been dead for how many years? I still can hear him.
That's what's great about music.
Okay, that's what's great about music.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
we can still go back. Like I said, I've got an iPod full of music. I ride a bike when summertime, when it gets warmer, I'll put about 12 to 1,500 miles on a bicycle. That's, to me, is like the most freeing moment. I could put music on, headphones, just get on my bike. It's not competition.
Yeah.
It's about freeing my mind, and I can exercise. That's an exercise I love doing, riding a bike.
You can forget about the world.
Forget about the world, but look at what goes past these beautiful green trees, and you might see a squirrel across the street, and there's a deer over there, and you don't see half of that shit when you're in a car. You're going by so fast.
Right.
When you're riding a bike, it's a whole different deal.
It's nice to have music.
If you ever want to
too.
go for a bike ride, tell me.
I'm in, man.
Really?
I got a fucking Gary Fisher. It's not a road bike. I'm not a road bike guy. I'm a mountain bike guy.
Oh, you could. Well,
I go nice and easy.
I'll give you a road bike.
All
You
right.
can borrow one of
All
my
right.
road bikes, okay? And we'll do it sometime. It'd be fun. A Sunday. We'll do
I'm
a Sunday.
in. Let's do it.
Okay. You can do 15 miles. That's nothing.
Oh yeah.
We'll go out to
15
West Branch,
miles,
have
fuck
fun.
Yeah.
It's nothing
I can
to
do
it.
15 miles.
Yes, of course.
I did 50 up to Ashtabula with my wife.
There you go.
Couldn't fucking walk that night or the next morning.
You're
but
not telling me.
It was okay.
I've gone up to Route 6 and came back. Okay, that's about 30 miles, I think. 35 miles. We did that one time. me and a couple friends, Dennis Augusta being one of them, he's a bike rider also. What we did is we picked up from there. We started from there. Then we went to Ashtabula and came back. And that was another 20-mile, 25-mile thing. We couldn't do 50 miles.
Jello. My legs were jello.
My ass would be worse than jello, okay? It'd be beat to shit. So I was like, no way. No, I don't need that. Anyways.
Mike Talanca from Toontown.
Thank you.
Man, appreciate you, brother.
Oh, I forgot to mention one more person. Can I mention
one
more?
Go, of course, yes.
One more great artist from this area. And if you fucking people aren't listening, you're stupid. Okay? Jim Fogarty. If you haven't heard of this guy, you need to.
Shit.
Okay? Shit. Come on, you're writing songs. You're doing it.
I'm having fun.
Huh?
I'm having fun. It's just another extension.
Titletown. Come on.
Titletown, baby.
That's right.
Jackie Popovic and Rick Deek from Vindy's helped me kind of flesh that out.
Excellent.
And hopefully that's something that they're at Toontown with and
They're
we're
welcome.
recording.
Yeah, let's do something with them. That's fine. I'm okay with it.
Hey, until the next time,
Yes,
Prodders, be kind and love each other. Stay electrified. Remember, like, listen, and subscribe. You can do that at any podcasting outlet. Feel free to shoot us a shout out on social media, and you can check out all the episodes at theprodcast.net. Until the next time, Mike, stay cool.
Peace.
Stay, brother.
Be appreciative, motherfuckers.